Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to sit down. I thought it would be really exciting since we're here in the month of June to talk about like a top 5, bottom 5 of the makeup that I have finished off to completion within this year. And then I thought it would be really fun to visit this again in December and see if anything changed. Like, are some of these products still represented in the top 5, bottom 5? Or is it all like different? Because I still have 6 more months to finish off some really bad and some really good products, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought this would be like a fun trip down memory lane. At first I was gonna make it like my most exciting like empties, but then as I was going through like my empties box, I forgot about some of these and I was like, oh, this was so terrible, but this was so good. And I was like, we have to do a top 5, bottom 5. So I'm not sure who started this style of like video, like I don't really know who to credit, but if you know, let us know down in the comments because I do like to always, you know, give credit where credit is due. But I think we're gonna start off with the negativity. Like I just feel like being a little bit salty right now. So we're gonna get into my bottom 5 makeup products that I've finished off this year. Okay, as far as bottom 5 goes, I was really disappointed by setting spray so far this year. So the first one we will talk about is from Colourpop. This is their Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. This was terrible. This turned you into like a greasy, glowy mess. Now I will say I do have more like combination oily skin, so maybe that's part of it why I didn't like this, but I was using this in the height of the winter time when typically I do like products that are on the more hydrating side. This just wasn't cutting it. Like it broke my face out. Like I just did not enjoy this. How I ended up finishing this off was actually using it as a heat protectant spray, which it did a fine job at that, but there's like actual heat protectant sprays out on the market that do a lot better job, and that's what they're made for. So it's not like I would be rushing right out to like buy this to use as a heat protectant spray. I'm just really glad that I had a way to use it up since it was such a terrible product. Okay, the other 2 sprays that I have are both from Pixi. I don't know what it is, but I think Pixi is the most overhyped brand that there is. Like their price point, just their accessibility, like just how many times I've been let down by their products. Like there's just so many cons to them that I am not like hunting out any products from them. Let me know though if you have a holy grail Pixi item because I'm just super curious. But either way, this is the Hydrating Milky Mist Spray. I feel like a lot of people rave about this. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It has vitamin B12 in it. Maybe I'm just making that part up. Don't quote me, it probably doesn't. But anyway, I feel like a lot of people say that they love this within their skincare routine, that it just helps add back in the moisture and it's just a great product. And I really love to use facial sprays within my skincare routine because I do use serums, and I feel like if you spray this on and get your face like a little bit damp before you put your serums on, like they just absorb much more nicely into your skin. But this was just terrible. Like I just didn't find that this actually made my skin feel any more moisturized, or it helped with any of like the dullness or any of those things that I do experience in the winter time. So just a big swing and a miss. However, I will say this one was worse. This from Pixi, this is their Glow Mist. Oh, this, I don't know. This just, again, like with the Colourpop spray, this just made me look like a gross grease ball, and it just, I don't know, like the oil separated in it, so I would constantly have to like shake it up. It just, I don't know, it didn't set down my makeup. I did try using this in my skincare, but I think I finished it off like using it as a traditional setting spray. It just didn't take down the powderiness. It didn't help lock in my makeup. It didn't do anything. Like I just, no, swing and a miss. Another super disappointing item that I have to talk to you about is from Colourpop. This is one of their lip liners. I'm not sure what they call them, but this is in the shade BFF. If I bring this in, hopefully you can see on the cap, this is just a really good like light nude shade in my opinion. And this is one of those shades that I particularly want to have in my collection because I feel like this would go so well with so many other lip products that I have, you know? But this dried out. And then it fell out of the cartridge onto the bathroom floor of a hotel. So I could not finish this. Like I did not get the value of the dollars that I paid. Now I know you might be sitting there thinking to yourself like, Haley, those are only like $8. Yeah, but look, I still have like half the product left. I don't know, like I want my full amount, you know, like I want the full usage. And this wasn't even that old. Like this wasn't, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, this is 2 years old. Like no wonder it dried out. Like this wasn't even a year old and it dried out. And I feel like I've heard so many people make the same complaint, and it's just not, it's not worth it. Like even though it's a cheaper price point, like the $8, whereas like some lip liners are running you, you know, like 12 plus, you're not going to get the value out of this. So it's just a waste. Like you're better off paying like a few more dollars for something that's a little bit better made. I wish that they would reformulate these, because the shade range I feel like is a quite nice like shade range to get what you want. But yeah, just not a good product. Okay, so I think this concealer is actually the product that I'm the most disappointed in as we sit here right now. So this is from Tarte. This is their hydrocealer. I have mine in the shade 12 in Fair Neutral. It's their Tarte C hydrocealer. So I think it's from their Rainforest of the Sea line. If I bring this into you, you can see it's pretty full looking, isn't it? You might be like, Haley, why are you calling that an empty? I sat there for 30 minutes at my makeup desk. I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I promise this is the one time in my life that I'm not going to exaggerate to you guys. Sat there for 30 minutes trying to pull the stopper out of this, and then started hearing like some cracking and breaking, because this is like a heavier duty like plastic bottle. So I was like, okay, that's not good. You're either gonna get shards of plastic down in here, or this is gonna go flying off and create a huge mess. The wand comes out dry, as you can see. Like I'm to the point where you do need to pull out your stopper, and it's just not happening. If you project pan and you use things to completion, you know how much is left down in here. You know, you just know it. You can feel it in your heart. There's like 3 weeks to 4 weeks worth of product, I bet you, left in here. And so I'm just so upset, because this is a pricier concealer. And again, just like with the ColourPop Lippy, I cannot get to it, and it's so frustrating. And the other reason it's frustrating, this isn't a bad concealer. Like this is actually a nice concealer. It's on the thinner consistency side. Like it blends out nicely. It does not make your under eyes look cakey or dry in any way. It's just a huge packaging flaw. And like I said, I'm so mad at it for that reason. I guess I should have said this in the introduction, but I'm not really like ranking these like here's number 5, here's number 4. But you know, I just picked out like 5 really bad products and 5 really good products. So now that we are done being salty, let's end on a high note and talk about the 5 really good products that I have finished off this year. So the first one is a foundation. This is from NYX. This is their Born to Glow foundation. I get mine in the shade Light. This is a medium coverage foundation. However, I feel like you can build this up to not like full coverage, but like medium full coverage, you know, and it doesn't look cakey. It settles so nicely. I don't find that this sinks in any like to weird places. It doesn't cling to any dry patches that you may have. And I am an oily girl, and I still really love this, even though it is more on the, we'll say, glowy side, much like a name Born to Glow would suggest. This is just lovely, hands down. Can't rave enough about it. The only reason I have not repurchased this as we sit here today is because I have 9 foundations in my collection. So I don't need to like go run right out and buy this. But as soon as my foundation category gets a little bit more under control, this is definitely something that I will be repurchasing. Okay, so the next thing to talk about is from Fenty Beauty. This is one of their cream blushes in the shade Fenty Glow. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is something that was only around for one of their like holiday release kits. I don't think this is a shade that is within their permanent line, but it should be. It was so nice. It's one of those, like I'm going to show you the back of it, because it's not like that dark like the sticker would suggest, like this brown, but it was definitely like a pinky brown kind of blush. It was beautiful as a blush. It was beautiful as a cream bronzer. I've just absolutely fallen in love with the Fenty Beauty cream blush formula. Like they blend out so nicely, like they wear really lovely. And they're not one of those cream products where they like sink into your skin too much. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, for one example, like with the e.l.f. putty blushes and the putty bronzers, like you would put those on and you would get it to like the opacity that you wanted, but then you would go and look at your makeup like 2-3 hours later and it's like all of that blush is gone. Like there was no point to it. This does not get like sunk in like that. Like it lasts through like on your face. So really quite lovely. I do have another shade, Summertime Wine, from them. So yeah, if you've like been curious about the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush formula, like obviously a fan favorite in this house, like I have finished one of them off. Okay, another exciting product for me. One, I do really enjoy this. Like I think this is worth the price, but it's also a big sized item for like what it is. And so it's kind of like a pat yourself on the back moment, you know, like I'm really proud of myself for finishing this off. So anyway, this is from Laneige. This is their lip sleeping mask. This is in the vanilla scent, which was so nice. Like it wasn't like fake vanilla, you know, it was just the right kind of mix of like sweet and vanilla, just super lovely. So I typically use the Laneige lip sleeping mask just whenever I want. Like I don't just use them at night. And this is the full size, guys. So you're getting 20 grams of product within here. It clocks in around at like the $22 price point. But I am not kidding when I say a very little bit goes a long way. And this will last like 6 to 8 months. Now, if you're someone who's only using it at night, you might get like a year plus out of this. I just feel like this is super nourishing, really hydrating. Especially in the wintertime, if it gets super windy and my lips get cracked and dry, I will put this on at night, and when I wake up in the morning, they already feel so much better. Whereas I feel like with some of the other like heavy duty lip balms on the market, that takes a little bit longer to achieve. So yeah, this is just a product that I really wanted to like sing the praises of. Like I do think this will be one of my top 5 products, like even in December. Okay, so the next top 5 is really just a kind of like with the Laneige sleeping mask. Like I just really wanted to pat myself on the back, so I'm gonna put it in with this. This is a little mini highlighter from Natasha Denona. It's the Diamond Bomb powder. I have finished this off. This was quite lovely as far as highlighters go. I did greatly enjoy this. This was a highlighter that mixed really well. Like you could layer it with other highlighters, because the shade of this was kind of like a glittery silvery kind of shade, we will say, which I know sounds really weird, but the glitters weren't like Twilight skin glitter, you know what I mean? Like it did look really nice and it blended into your skin nicely, and it was this really unique highlighter where even though I just described it as like glittery and silvery, if you had a highlighter that was too blinding on your face and you wanted to tone it down some, you could top this off on top of it and they would just blend together so nicely and not be so like bam in your face. Just a really interesting product. I don't know what he is going crazy about. Okay, having a meltdown over the mailman. So I'm really sorry about that. I completely have like lost my train of thought on that. I still think he's like upset. He has to have the last booth. Like he cannot let it go, you know? But anyway, this Natasha Denona highlighter was quite lovely. Like I really did enjoy using it, and I have enough highlighters within my collection. I do have like a straight up cream highlighter from her, so I'm going to enjoy that one as I have it, but this would definitely be like a brand's highlighters that are now like on my radar. Okay, so the last product for my top 5 is this Rare Beauty concealer. This is their Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer, if I'm not mistaken. I have mine in the shade 140C. I purchased this, was it sometime at the end of last year or maybe the beginning of this year? I think it was sometime last year. But either way, I finished it off this year and I loved it so much that I've already repurchased it. I just feel like this wore so nicely. Again, much like with the Tarte one, this never looked cakey underneath my eyes. Like it settled nicely. It didn't like fade away. I feel like the shade range of this is really nice. I like to buy my concealers a shade or 2 lighter than my foundation so that I can like achieve that brightening effect. And I feel like I was able to easily find a really nice shade within this line. Also, the shade 140C was a really nice, even though it's a C, so you would think like cool toned, it was a really nice like neutral toned concealer, and I just feel like it worked so well for my skin. I was able to get the stopper out of this one so I could get like all of the product out that was down in there. Like just so satisfying. I have heard some people complain about the dofa because it's not like a soft one. Like it's really kind of hard, but not like a rock, but just not as soft as some of the other ones. However, I really ended up enjoying that because I felt like since it was a little bit of like a stiffer dofa, I was able to place it down exactly where I wanted to and not like make any kind of mistakes, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think this is my new like holy grail concealer. Just greatly did enjoy that. And that wraps it up for my top 5 and bottom 5. So let me know down below, do you have a top 5 and a bottom 5 of products that you have finished off this year? Yeah, I would love to know. I already said that. Sometimes we repeat ourselves quite a lot. But that is it. I appreciate you guys so much for sticking around and putting up with me. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.